Welcome to the Red Carpet Report, your backstage pass for celebrity book clubs, book adaptations, and new releases. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Kirsten.
And we're your hosts.
This episode is a pick party, and we are so excited to talk to you about the February Celebrity Book Club picks.
But first, we have the Red Carpet Rundown.
And big news, especially for you, because you absolutely love this author, Ariel Lawhon. Ariel Lawhon. How do we say her name?
Don't know.
Well, a former GMA Celebrity Book Club pick for her book, Frozen River. It's becoming a movie.
I'm so excited. I love her book so much. She's an amazing biographical fiction writer. This one, Frozen River, is about a woman who was a midwife, actually, and she delivered thousands of babies and never lost a mother, which at the time was unheard of. So this is going to be amazingly adapted to the screen. So much of it is based on her actual journals.
Wow, I cannot wait to see that. I'm always a sucker for anything historical fiction adapted to the big screen. We don't have that much news this week, but we have a lot of book adaptation stuff to talk about.
Yeah, what's next?
Finding Her Edge. It's a teen YA romance that's been adapted. And the story is essentially there's this Russo rink for ice skaters and ice dancers, and they're working together to prepare for the Olympics. There's a lot of drama. There's maybe some love triangles. There's 3 girls living in a house with a dad. The mom has passed away. And some of them are solo dancers. Some of them are partner dancers. And if you've ever seen any kind of figure skating, a lot of times you're in a romantic relationship with your partner because you have to convey this tension and this romance. And so that is sort of played out, but picture like the teen version.
Right. So drama,
like very high drama. I'm about 4 episodes in. I'm a total Olympics girly. When my kids were growing up, we would track medal counts on the wall and they would like color in for various. It's the
so
whole thing.
Cute.
I love the Olympics, which by the way, opening ceremonies tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm very excited about that. So I wanted to save this one. It is out now on Netflix, and you can watch the whole entire season in one bingeable time if you want to, but I stopped watching it because we made a pact.
We did.
We were bullied by our friend Cassie into watching what last night?
Heated Rivalry.
So many people have told me about this.
I know, and I didn't know what to think, so I wasn't sure that I was going to be into it, but like you said, we were strongly encouraged
to watch this story, which is based on a book. And it's basically about professional hockey players that are gay and in love on rival teams.
First, on a completely aside, one of the teams is Montreal. That's where I was born.
That's right. That's right. The Metros?
Yeah, except for that, they're not real hockey teams.
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
No.
That's outside of no, they are. The Boston look like the Bruins was not.
And
Bruins?
It's not. They're called the something else. And it's the Montreal Canadiens. Les Habitants, the Habs. Not whatever they call it in the MLH.
Well, I don't really know hockey.
Listen,
so I thought it was based on real team.
No, they kept the colors the same so that it would resemble, but I'm sure they did not get permission from the NHL to actually
Now that you mention it, I wonder why. So it is very steamy.
15 minutes in, I was like, there was basically no story established.
Yes.
Before.
Yes.
There were some scenes.
There were a lot of scenes. And I knew going in, some people said it took a little while for that to kind of happen. And I felt that way a little bit about Bridgerton. You know how like in the beginning, it was like they hit you with something really sexy to like captivate you. And then you didn't act. There was nothing for like many, many episodes later. It kind of felt like that. But the whole time I was watching it, and especially when did you get to episode 3?
No, I only got to episode 2, but I want to know if a story starts to develop, because literally it just keeps fast forwarding and showing them texting each other for the entire first episode. And I was like, this is not a story. This is space in between some steamy scenes.
Yeah, it was really the third episode that kind of hooked me a little bit
Okay.
because they actually switched to a different couple.
Oh, no way.
And you get their love story in episode 3.
Oh.
And it's much more like, I got teary-eyed at one point. Their story is much more linear. It's very organic. It's very like, it was so sweet. I loved it so much. So it reminded me, do you remember when we, with our book club, talked to Elizabeth Staple for The Snap?
Yeah.
And the whole story is about a publicist who works for a football team. And she
Yes.
has all these different like things that she's running around fixing.
Yes.
One of which is she has to rescue a gay player who's closeted from a scene because he was indiscreet, and they thought that it was going to leak to the press, and she had to like stop. It was a whole thing. And she basically told us in the interview, there's a lot more gay players in professional sports than you know about, which this portrayed. Because if you'd had a bunch of gay players on the same team, maybe that wouldn't have been accurate. But they're all on different teams. And it had me thinking last night that like professional sports are like the final frontier for gay men.
I don't know. I'm going to see if I'm going to keep on watching, because like the first few episodes, I wasn't really into it because they didn't really go into their story.
Apparently, it gets very good. I don't.
Okay.
We'll report back.
We'll let you know. Okay.
Speaking of reporting back, did you watch the first half of this season of Bridgerton?
I only got to watch like the first few episodes.
Well, apparently I'm the only one doing the work over here, putting in the time. I guess I never read this book, so I did not know that it was a Cinderella story.
I read this book and it's sweet. And meanwhile, my husband's watching with me going, this is dumb. It's Cinderella.
It is.
And
very clearly Cinderella.
Right. And I said, yes, honey, it's a Cinderella trope. He goes, what's a trope?
Boy. Well, I will say, I think the problem with the Cinderella plotline is that they spend more time apart than they do together. So I'm having trouble. I, first of all, love her. She's a new actress that I've never seen before. I think she's fantastic. Her backstory was great. Benedict just is not doing it for me. I miss Daphne. I miss Daphne and the Duke.
Me too. Me too.
And what they're doing with Lady Danbury, I am offended. Do not do what I think I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but if this is leading where I think it's leading, I'm not down for this.
Can we talk about the headpieces of the Queen, by the way? They're outstanding. Her costumes are so unbelievable. I could watch the entire show just to see what the Queen's wearing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I liked the masquerade part of the ball.
Me
that
too.
was fun.
Me too.
More balls, less ice cream shop visits.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that.
No. I'd like there to be more dancing at the balls and have the music better.
You know what? The first season, the music was excellent. It was all those like Taylor Swift songs and like all these, but with the string quartet, I don't even notice the music.
No, it's not good like it was the first. And they had an entire ball and I was like, where's the music?
Yeah, you're right. The final bit of red carpet rundown news, which really just rolls right into the pick party, is that Katie Couric, she named her book club. It's the KBC. KCBC, right.
Katie Couric Book Club.
She named it, and she picked her February pick.
Yes, which you have strong feelings about.
I do. It's Theo of Golden. And this was like one of the, first of all, I think it's very interesting that she is pulling an Oprah. So she's going
backlist, first of all,
mm-hmm.
and announcing it on random days.
And they're all bestsellers already. I have feelings, but we're going to see. I was so excited about the first book because I do think they're books that she genuinely wants to read. And she's just like, let's bring us along for the ride. But there is power in a celebrity book club.
Yes.
And you need to have read the book before you are recommending it. I don't think that that's what she did for this one because she said, everyone keeps recommending this book to me, so I'm going to read it with you.
Oh, no way.
That's ballsy.
Oh, wow.
Like she might hate it.
Wow.
I know. I have feelings about that. And I read Theo of Golden too.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Okay. I'm going to say some things.
Here we go. Buckle down, everybody. Okay. We're going for a ride. I'm
going to explain because I've alluded to this in the past that I don't dislike a Colleen Hoover or a Frida McFadden, but I find them to be starter fiction. So, like, to me, a Sarah J. Maas is like starter fantasy. A Frida McFadden
Yes.
is like starter thrillers. A Colleen Hoover is starter romance.
What you mean by starter is it kind of follows a particular formula, right? It's very appealing to a lot of people, but is not necessarily literature, deep dive, nothing particularly unique about it. That's not to say that it's not a very enjoyable book.
Right, right. It's not hard to read.
Right.
It's very easy. But the plot is maybe more predictable if you are a more experienced reader.
Right.
I think there's a continuum of like a Frida McFadden to a contemporary fiction to a like a real literary fiction to like the classics, right?
Right.
And as you're going down that continuum, like you're getting deeper into feelings, you're getting more metaphors, you're getting more similes, you get all the way down to the classics, and you're talking a totally different language that you have to decipher. So I view this as like starter fiction. And much like when I read The Housemaid, whatever that book was called by
Right.
Frida, but I had already read The Last Mrs. Parrish and The Wife Between Us.
Right.
So I knew it was coming. Theo of Golden is, all right, let me tell you the plot. Theo of Golden's plot is essentially that a man has come to a town. Nobody knows who he is. He walks into a coffee shop. He sees all of these sketches on the wall of inhabitants that live in the area. And he decides every week that he's going to take a picture. He describes what the picture is in the book. He's going to reunite this portrait with its owners. He's helping the artist because he's giving them money for their artwork. He's reuniting this portrait with these people and changing their lives in the process. And it's like supposed to be a reflection on art. And
I have an idea.
yes,
This sounds to me kind of a little bit like Mona's Eye.
now Mona's Eyes is this big. Okay. It's 500 pages.
It is.
It is actual artwork that hangs in museums with descriptions and art history. And it is a much harder book to read.
But it's stunning.
But it was one of the best books that I read last year, that you read
Yes.
last year. It was phenomenal. When you read that first and you're used to reading books like that, you go
Right.
back to Theo of Golden and you're like, this is starter fiction. The other thing about Theo of Golden is it is very overt in its religious undertones. And so as a former Catholic, I picked up on the messaging right away. And it was much like reading The Alchemist, which is famous. There's this whole religious undertone.
Right.
There's religious undertones to this entire thing. And it is wrapped up in a bow when it is directly linked to Jesus at the end of the book. And that's not a spoiler.
Right.
It's just, I think that you need to know that going in because I knew it. And my perspective of it as a Jewish woman reading it was I was a little bit more removed from the story. And I understood what was being like kind of given to me. And it was, it wasn't a bad message. It was a lovely message. A lot of the religious texts are very lovely messages of like caring for your neighbor, etc.
Right. The interesting thing though, I've seen a lot of people writing about it. And there are so many people who are insisting that it's not religious. And I've seen people write in and say, if I'm Jewish, am I going to say that it's too religious? And people are writing back saying, it's not religious, it's spiritual.
Which is what they say about The Alchemist. They talk about Jesus. They talk about Jesus at the end of the book.
So it kind of upsets me that people can be so centric that they don't realize that when you talk about Jesus, that is only your religion. That's not spiritual. I wonder what Katie is trying to do with her book club. So with The Correspondent, it wasn't necessarily a bestseller. It was kind of like up and coming. It's become a lot more popular.
It has become a bestseller.
It has become a bestseller. So I wonder if she's trying to make a more accessible book club. Maybe she's trying to be the antithesis of Oprah.
I don't know. I think she's just like, I'm going to read, and these are the books that are on my radar. So, it seemed When she started with the correspondent, it seemed very organic. Like, I read this book. I want more people to read this
Right.
book. It's amazing. Let's start a book club. Okay, but where are you going with it, girl? Like, what are we doing now? What's our next move?
Right,
Like, have you
especially-
thought this out at all?
Right, especially with someone that has such a big platform, you have to have a more well thought out plan than just jumping all around.
Right. And reading it first, because if you're hearing one thing from people and then you realize maybe that it was much more religious than you thought it was going to be, like, she might not know that going in, because I don't think a lot of people know it going in, which is why I'm saying it. It was still a lovely story. I still enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. I'm not knocking it like that. There's like an asterisk next to it for me.
Right.
And I just think people should know what they're getting into, because I don't
100%.
think it's portrayed
Yes,
properly at the moment. Meanwhile, moving on, we've got Jenna's pick for February. It's Monday, by the way, here.
Yes.
So this is coming out tomorrow, but we've seen the evidence.
Right. So her pick is One and Only
Maureen Gu.
by Maureen Gu. And I read it.
You and the people. Now, if you recall last week,
Yes.
the people said Reese, and it was the only one that they said for Reese.
Yeah. And funny enough, this is the only one that was actually a romance this month.
Right. That's right.
And it's February. I thought we were maybe going to have a few more romances, and we did not. We have One and Only, which I touched on briefly, but it's a bit of a spicy romance. It is a family. They've been matchmakers for generations. The way that they do this is by looking at people's faces, and then they can see into their past lives and find their fated one. And in this particular book, the main character, she's turning 40. She's known who her fated one is for 10 years since she was 30 years old, but she can't find him. So she meets this guy. He's really nice. They have a really strong connection, and he introduces her to his boss. And lo and behold, his boss is her fated one. And now we have a love triangle.
I am not surprised because of how you've talked about it. I'm not surprised that she chose this, because you said it's more about like fate and there's more depth to this particular romance. I'm surprised based on the fact that she went from like a memoir to a romance, which
That's a jump,
is a big jump.
but that's fun.
It is fun. I mean, I think she's already off to a strong start.
Yeah.
I read memoir. I read memoir. I speak English. I'm on a lot of Dayquil, okay? I'm trying not to sniffle. I've got a cold. We've cut out so many of my mistakes already. I don't know if this is going to make it in, but if it does, my apologies.
Oh my God. I think we've had half an hour of your mistakes.
So
which
many mistakes
I'm
today.
so glad that it's not me.
Oh, man.
So you're forgiven
Well,
today.
I am not on my A game today, and I apologize for it. But what I was going to say is not I read memoir. I was going to say I read Homeschooled, the memoir that she chose this month. And I thought it was interesting. I think this is another one that has been misportrayed because he makes it seem like it's about being homeschooled. And he does touch in the book about how he thinks that homeschool children need more oversight in general from the government of the states that they are in for their homeschooling. But he was really like kind of emotionally abused by his mother throughout this entire thing. And she clearly had some mental health issues going on, which I think is the point of the, like, you need to be checking in on kids that are being homeschooled in these states. But it was really about his mother's mental health and about his experience getting like kind of abused without saying that he was abused.
Okay.
And like his dad was in the picture, but like totally was negligent about this whole thing. And the whole time I just felt really, really bad for him. But his press tour on this has been like, oh yeah, homeschooling, like we need more oversight. But he doesn't really go into that in the book. It's really just his experience with like 5 lines about like the laws of homeschooling changing. I don't understand why it was titled that and the press tour is on one thing and the actual book, in my mind, is different. Anyway, it's an interesting switch from one to the other.
And this is as opposed to Reese, who has chosen a thriller for the second month in a row.
That's right. That's right. She did. She chose what?
She chose In Her Defense by Philippa Malika. Also talked a little bit about this last week. It's a courtroom drama that's done really, really well. There's multiple timelines. So it's really well written and a bit of a complex story that I love the way that it came together. So there's a social media maven. She is really upset because she is excommunicated with her daughter. Her daughter wants nothing to do with her, and she blames a therapist. And she calls her out in the newsletter. Now there's a huge lawsuit that she refuses to take back what she said because she's absolutely sure that this is the truth and she's not lying. And then it goes back to when the daughter met this person and the personal assistant who has a connection to both of them. So it was very well done. I really, really like this book.
But odd that she chose 2 thrillers in a row.
So weird. So weird.
And this was on our radar. It was not on any of your predictions. But I thought this was, it sounds interesting. It sounds great. It sounds like it'd be really fun to have adapted. I'm just kind of shocked.
I am too. And I thought if anyone was going to do a romance this month, it was going to be Reese, which is why everybody's predictions, I think, were really good predictions because Reese does do some romances.
She does. She's the most likely to do one.
Right. So everything was a little bit thrown off this month.
A little wonky for February.
Very wonky.
Talk about GMA.
Yes. I haven't read it. What was the pick?
It was The Exes by Leodora Darlington. I talked a little bit about this last week. It's another thriller.
Another thriller for the month of February, which is super strange that February is not thriller month.
I don't really get this. I'm really shocked. There have not been a lot of romances, and I think they normally come out a little closer to the summer, but this is just surprising to me how many thrillers are chosen.
You know what? I will say that this year, the thrillers I've read are fantastic. There are so many really good ones. Every thriller I've read this year, we're coming back around. We were stuck in a rut for the last few years, well, last year in particular, of not great thrillers. And this year is like awesome.
This particular one seems really fun to me. It's about a woman who has had a lot of ex-lovers, has found her husband, they're married, but it turns out all those exes are dead and possibly murdered, it kind of sounds like. And
Maybe.
She's not sure now that she's happily married if she is the villain or if there's an outside force that is like kind of killing these exes. And she doesn't know, genuinely doesn't know. So she's an unreliable narrator, clearly, but she wants to keep her husband alive.
I want to read this one very badly.
I think it sounds really fun.
Sounds really good.
I think it sounds really fun.
And unique.
It sounds great.
I'm excited for this one.
And then the YA pick,
which
you have already started.
I have, and it was totally not on our radar either. Sibylline.
By Melissa De La Cruz.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Really, really good dark academia, fantasy, romance also.
Yes.
We've got everything.
With a real life love triangle.
Yes. 3 best friends are applying to go to the most prestigious magical university. They're waiting to get their acceptances. They do not get accepted. None of them. They decide that they are going to get jobs in the university, and that's how they're going to get their magical education. They're going to like go to the library. They're going to do whatever they have to do to get a magical education. Each one of them loves another one in a perfect triangle. It for college students, they're about 18 years old. So this is some serious drama. I love it because this is not, yes, it's a little bit dark, but it's not the school is trying to kill me and everybody's dead and I'm fighting for my life the entire time. It's more like something is going on at the school. There are secrets being held.
Have the students started turning up dead yet? Because apparently that's going to happen.
I'm halfway through. One student has died.
Okay. Now, Oprah is our final lady. And she has decided that she's not going to announce a book until February 24th. She actually said, that's the date, I'm announcing it. And she does it not by month. So she doesn't say it's February. She says, I think it's their 101st or 102nd book club pick, which, based on what we now know that it's coming out on February 24th, we think that you guys were right. And the pick is going to be
Kin by Tiari Jones. And the funny thing is, you and I had talked about that last week,
Yep.
saying you never know what Oprah's going to do. She can announce it at any time. And thank you, Oprah.
Now, we could still be wrong, but based on what we're looking at and the fact that she loves to repeat an author and the fact that American Marriage was a former pick of hers, we are pretty inclined to think that this is going to be what it is, but we will check back.
I'll let you know. I'm so excited I get to do the bookmark this week because I just finished a book I loved. It is The Laws of Love and Logic by Debra Curtis, and it comes out February 17th.
Love it.
So this is another one of my new favorite genre. It's a literary romance.
Yes. I love a literary romance. Why do people not pick literary romances this much?
I know. Do you want to know what my clue was?
Do tell.
They refer to her first love as the boy.
Oh, I love when they do that kind of stuff.
Like reading and walking and walking and reading.
Hey, don't you be knocking on Milkmaid. I love that book.
It's not Milkmaid. It's
Yes, Milkman. Milkman. It was Milkman. I'm really out of it today. I'm telling you.
This is amazing.
I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. This is going to be a really bad episode for me.
I feel like I'm doing an episode with a drunk person.
I feel not connected to my body. So I am not making. I feel like I should not operate heavy machinery.
One Dayquil and she's like done.
This is why I don't like to take medicine, Jackie. I should have not taken the medicine. I feel like I was fine before I took the Dayquil.
No, you would have been sniffing the whole
now
time.
Now I'm like loop-de-loos.
But you're not sniffing.
I'm not sniffing, but
okay.
I'm also not coherent.
Oh my God. Okay. So The Laws of Love and Logic is actually a lot more in depth than I thought it was going to be from the description. So the story starts off actually years before. Okay. And it starts off when they're younger and they actually are at a religious institution. And it's like very interesting because there is a religious component that I didn't feel like had a result on the story. It actually really added to it. The mother dies, there's two daughters, and it's how they go through life. So the one daughter, she ends up having some drug problems. The other daughter meets the love of her life when they're in high school. They're together, a tragedy happens, and she ends up meeting someone else. They end up getting married, and she comes back later in life. She meets again her first love. So it's first loves, and it's a really deep emotional story that didn't feel like it was just drama for the sake of it. It was like this beautiful story of getting over grief and the loss of their mom and how the two sisters dealt with it differently. And I just love this book. We are going to leave off with a question.
What is your favorite Reese Witherspoon book club pick of all time?
I love this question.
I don't know what mine is.
I know, either do I. I'm going to have to look through
I'm going to have to also
our lists and figure it out because she has a bunch of really good books.
She does. And she has some terrible books. We want to know what your opinions are, and we will get into them next week. We will read off your favorites. We're going to talk about our favorites.
Yes.
What our favorites are, what maybe the most popular ones have been, and maybe even some hidden gems that didn't get enough credit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I love that. Okay. So follow. We're on Instagram, everywhere that podcasts can be seen. And we are so excited to see you next week.
Happy reading.
Bye.